As we've just seen from Paddy, people communicate in many different ways when they're speaking, either on the phone or in person. It's all about the tone of voice. When you make a statement, it can be a question, it can show anger or emotion, or it can be used to quote someone else. You can do this by changing the tone of your voice to suit. When you write, however, you have to use marks or symbols to show the reader what you mean. These marks are called punctuation marks. Let's look at Nala's phone call to Paddy to see how we can change the meaning of statements just by adding punctuation marks.
Hi Paddy, how are you? It's Helen here in Nala.
Oh, how are you doing? How are things?
Have I got you at a bad time, Paddy?
You'll notice that when you ask questions, the tone of your voice goes up at the end of the sentence. This is how we know that someone has asked a question.
Have you any other questions on the workbook?
Similarly, when we write questions, we use a question mark at the end of the sentence. Let's look at how to draw one. If you were writing Helen's sentence as a question, you'd use a question mark at the end instead of a full stop. But if, like Helen, you want to show some emotion, whether it's anger or happiness or surprise, you'd use an exclamation mark. An exclamation mark is a line with a dot at the end, like this. Like question marks, you use an exclamation mark at the end of a sentence instead of a full stop. Let's see an example. Helen says,
You've worked really hard, Paddy.
If you want to write this, you'd use an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence. Other marks we use in punctuation are called speech marks or quotation marks. They look like this. You use speech marks to write out or quote exactly what a person has said. Speech marks are made by drawing two small lines to begin and end the sentence. In books and newspapers, you'll see speech marks to show when someone's being quoted directly on what they've said. Let's look at an example.
Lovely hearing from you.
If you wanted to write this, you'd put speech marks around the words that Paddy actually said, which are lovely hearing from you.